Well, it's almost like they didn't know where to put people, so they said, "Oh, we'll just throw you over here."
Right. But now after, 20 years, I think people kind of understand that it is a roots-based, music.
Yeah.
And, it incorporates aspects of the old, what people used to call singer-songwriter, or, Americana has kind of grown as a particular kind of catch-all once.
Yeah, like a kitchen sink type of thing.
Move further away. It's like you can, as long as what you're doing is vaguely roots-based or has something to do with kind of a number of different genres that don't exactly exist anymore.
Exactly. Well,
but there's, hopefully there just keeps being new blood, and, some artist will come along who will really be dead center for it, and people will understand,
Yeah. Well, there's a sense of pride you see in it now where the people that got pushed into there say, okay, well, this is where we're at, so we're going to embrace it.
Right. I mean, and you have to, you do what you do, and people need labels to talk about music, or people need labels to write about music, but people don't need any labels to make it.
Yeah.
When we started doing what we were doing, it's not like we had options, and it's not like we had a formula. We just set out to play, and we still do. I mean, if I wake up, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be thinking about what kind of song I felt like playing. I'd think about how I wanted to play guitar on it. I'd try to think about how to record it. And to try to get something on tape to release that I thought people would, get something out of. But there's no, you don't check yourself. If you can think of something that's good, you just got to do it. And it's just got to be what you do. And then somebody else can figure out, what they want to call it.
Well, I would assume that with you, the last thing you would want is, or think of, would be a label, because you're trying to serve the song in the first place.
Right. And sometimes you realize you're pushing against maybe stuff you've done in the past in one direction or the other, but so long as it's how you're feeling and you think that you have a good understanding of, whatever new elements you're adding to something, there's nothing to be done. I mean, you look at artists who, maybe more so than what we do, move around in genres. Like, you look at again, we mentioned Bob Dylan or Neil Young and the different kinds of records they made over the years. And, they're still right there at the center of all that music.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
At the end, it's just a different kind of record.
Well, and every time they try to someone tries to pin them down, they become more elusive.
Right.
Right. Now, with Poor David's Almanac, how does that title, or at least the album itself, how does that fit into the purpose of what Poor Richard's Almanac set out to do?
Well, I thought because the songs kind of talked about the world in a broad sort of way, and I hoped contained some sort of the wit, and maybe, if I'm not being, too presumptuous, a tiny bit of the wisdom that was in that almanac.
Yeah.
That it was a good connection to make. The songs were really rooted in folk traditions and really things that we were trying to inject a little bit of ourselves into that kind of, into the bloodstream of that music.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things too, where it's that almanac, it almost showed you that there were things bigger than yourself or wherever you were standing.
Right. And, and that there were trends and there were things that were outside your control, and you were, you're living and trying to, make things grow the best you can in the environment you're in.
Yeah.
And, I've actually been leafing through a little bit of, one of those old almanacs, and it just really felt like the songs, which all kind of grew out of this sort of very homespun philosophy, it seemed like it was a good way to let people know what they were getting into before they dropped the needle,
Yep. Well, my final question is, as a performer who creates music and travels and interacts with people all over the place, what has a life immersed in music taught you about what it means to be a human being?
I mean, let me think. You definitely understand the commonality, the fact that people when you feel people from all different walks of life and all different places in the world react to a similar song or a similar piece of music or a similar lick, for that matter, in the same kind of way, it really drives it home, you know. And it's fun because in a way then you kind of look at how people are different. You know, you end up feeling like, you know, then you realize that, different people in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, they do respond differently. There are different, you know, obviously cultural kind of responses to things. But, you know, I guess when you think about the, you know, human beings, I don't know, I'm amazed when you really get down to it and you think about it. If we're going to go and, you know, show up in Nashville and, you know, go play, you know, stand at the Orange, stand on the stage and do our sound check, the fact that people are going to come out there and stand there and, you know, watch us do our thing for a couple, you know, 2.5, 3 hours or however long we end up playing. It's just, I mean, it couldn't be more flattering or more gratifying.
Yeah.
That, you know, you go out there and you try to do something that is a live performance where, you know, you're there for the people that moment.
Yeah.
And that everybody sort of comes together. And, you know, when you think about a show, when you think about how much it takes to make that experience happen for everybody, and that sort of everybody's on board with it, and that it happens, you know, night after night. I don't know. It's you know, it is a dream when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, just sitting here in the house on the day where I can't go and play a show, I don't have anything booked. It's like I'm always thinking, I wish I could get out tonight and play a show somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I've got friends here in Nashville who might be playing here or there, and if I can go out to somebody else's gig and grab a guitar and play for 3 hours, nothing makes me happier than to get up on stage and to kind of be part of that. And, you know, when you're playing a club gig or you're playing down at Roberts or something like that, and you're, you know, kind of playing maybe traditional country songs or something and people are dancing, it's a little bit of a different role, but it's the same thing. It's like everybody's on board with it.
It's pretty special.
You know, everybody's kind of trying to create it. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think I knew from a really early age that music was the thing in life that probably affected me the most. Yeah. And to be able to like sort of pass that on in some sort of a way is, you know, that's you know, that's something I put a huge amount of value on.
I definitely agree with that, especially as someone who's been a music journalist for a long time, who racks my brain every week to figure out trying to connect with people about why this music means so much to me and why I need to share it, you know. But
well, you know, any time I think that you have anytime that you've got a, you know, where something, if it hits you that hard and you can like pass it on and communicate it to somebody else, you just, you know, you owe it to yourself to do it, because there's someone else out there who is like waiting to you know, to feel that. If someone comes and says how much they like, you know, something that I've done, it's like I can't feel the same way they do about the music that I make or the music that Gillian and I make, but I certainly have felt that way about so much music that you just have to say thank you and be glad to be part of that, you know, to be on the receiving end of that. Because you spend your whole life, you know, that's what you're trying to, you know, pass on.